introduction, let me begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Whadjuk Noongar people, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and extend those respects to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are with us here today. Let me also acknowledge my friends from the Diplomatic Corps who are with us in strong numbers here today, and particularly ministers from the continent of Africa who've made the journey to visit us here in Perth. As a Foreign Affairs Minister, I know what that is like. It's a long flight. Thank you for making the effort to be with us here today. Thank you for the invitation to speak here again today. I was reflecting that I've attended Africa Down Under in every year since I came into my role as Assistant Minister for Foreign Affairs, and it's quickly become one of the fixtures on my ministerial calendar. It's always refreshing to come here to Perth, to Australia's Indian Ocean capital, to really be able to benefit from the different mindset, the different outlook that we have here on Australia's western coast, and particularly in that respect, to be able to say g'day across the very big pond of the Indian Ocean to our neighbours in the African continent. Before I make a few remarks, I should tell you that my boss, Penny Wong, the Foreign Minister, very much wants to be here. We talk about African Australian issues regularly inside the portfolio, but because of her other commitments, she was not able to be here. But she has recorded a video message for everyone here, which I'm told we will now be able to play.
Honourable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of Perth, the Whadjuk Noongar people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I'm delighted to record this message for the 22nd Gathering of Africa Down Under. Australia is home to one of the oldest continuous civilisations on Earth, and home to people from more than 300 ancestries. Half of the Australian population was born overseas or has a parent who was born overseas. When we look to the world, to Asia, to Europe, to Africa, we see our own reflection, and we have sought to reflect this rich character back to the world. Almost 500,000 Australians of African origin form an integral part of our multicultural, social and economic fabric. Sharing common ground with so many of the world's peoples means Australians want to see the interests of all the world's peoples upheld, along with our own. And we know we can only solve our biggest problems by working together with other countries that share our vision for peace, stability and prosperity. Not only that, but we know the world's biggest goals, sustainable development, addressing climate change, achieving net zero, powering the world, simply cannot be achieved without the nations of Africa. Working together to achieve our common interests is not simply a choice, it's a necessity. The African Union's membership of the G20 reflects both Africa's contribution to the global economy and its rightful and crucial role in shaping the economic and financial future of our world. That is only one part of the story. Africa should be represented on the Security Council. As the UN Secretary General has said, African voices, insights and participation must be brought to bear across the Council's deliberations and actions. Australia has heard the voices of the nations of Africa, voices that have sought partnership on equal terms, voices that have called on us to recognise the unity of Africa and also its diversity. Australia's work in Africa has tried to achieve just that. Our engagements are tailored to the needs of the countries with whom we work. We've worked to support food security and resilience to climate change, supported local efforts in counter-terrorism and countering violent extremism, and provided humanitarian assistance where need is most acute. We are making great progress in trade and investment collaboration. In recent years, Australian investment in Africa has risen to $60 billion. This represents a long-term commitment to Africa's future. Australian businesses in mining, renewable energy and education services are helping to provide skills, add value and generate sustainable benefits for local communities. Africa is already central to the global economy and international security, and this role in the world will only get bigger. And Australia's relationship with the countries of Africa will only get stronger. Have a great Africa Down Under. Thank you.